All right, guys, welcome back to Project Infinite. I'm Taylor.
I'm Tyler.
And right from the get go, I'll let Tyler take over from here. We got some pretty big news.
Yep. Very big and exciting news. Um, yeah, if you guys have been following our social media or listening to our podcast, you guys may have heard that we had a that I finished a book at the beginning of this year. I announced it on Facebook, and since then I've gotten I've definitely had a good amount of people asking like when is the book coming out, not just on social media but just people that I've told in person, whether it's you know uh, a customer or any regulars. They're always curious to know that type of stuff too. um, but yeah, the title of the book is called The Wind Travelers, and it chronicles our journeys from that took place back in 2017 when we were 23 years old, and it tells the whole story from the moment we left Grand Forks and we ended up in LA. It Every single moment it chronicles that whole entire journey all the way to LA, what happened in LA, and then coming back to North Dakota. It tells the whole story. I do talk a little bit about our a little bit of backstory. There's I like a foundation laid that ended up like what took place before all that actually transpired. I talk about that in the book as well. Um, but yeah, so like I said, I announced it on Facebook. Um, and honestly, after that, it kind of went a little bit on the. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of went on the back burner a little bit because, it's one thing to write a book, and then like I said in the post, in that post, it took me a long time to even want to write that book, because coming back to North Dakota from our trip in LA, I knew when I got back to North Dakota, I was going to write a book. I was going to write the book. And, but I explained that I was telling myself a story on how I thought the book should be told. And that story that I was telling myself on how the book should be told, it made the task feel a lot more daunting, and I just kept pushing it away. It just kept uh, getting further and further from me, and then years would go by, and but throughout all that time, I would always tell people a little bit of our travels. I would talk about our travels. I would just talk about things we experienced, and they all said the same thing. Every single person would say the same thing. All strangers, whether it were strangers or friends or anybody, they'd say you should write a book. And I would always tell them I'm planning on writing a book. I'm gonna write a book, but like I said, it just felt so daunting because, like I said, there was a story I was telling myself and how the book should be told, or how the story should be told, and then um, yeah, then there came a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. Like I just had to write it. I went through a couple different incarnations of the book before I actually landed on this actual version that I'm giving to you guys. Um, but it wasn't until I stopped telling myself how the story needs to be told, because I was just complicating it for myself, making it too complicated. Um, I figured I need to just let go of all that and just keep it simple. Just tell the story. Um, so that's what I did, and just like that, I was able to finish the story in like a week or 2 weeks. I can't remember if it was a week or if it was 2 weeks. It was one of those, but it was no more than 2 weeks. But then the big part was done, write the story. But then after that, I started thinking to myself, okay, now I got to think about, how do I want to get it? How do I want to get it out to people? Um, Prior to even starting the book, actually, when we were in LA, I had an idea of what I wanted to, of how I wanted to, give the book away. Um, but when I finished writing the book, it was like I kind of forgot about that idea. And then I started thinking about publishing and, whether to publish or self-publish or do all these different things. Uh, I didn't know like how much can actually go into it. If you plan on, everybody, I asked like some people like advice, and everyone says the same thing. Figure out what your genre of your book is. What type of book is it? What type of story is it? All these different things, and then search publishing agencies that that deal with those type of books, and then you got to submit to their things, and then maybe you hear from them, maybe you don't. There's certain guidelines, there's certain ways they want the thing, your story published, all this and that. And to me, that just, it stopped being fun at that point. It stopped feeling like, I started to lose the motivation for that. I was like, I don't want to do all that. Like, um and then of course self-publishing, that that takes a lot, that takes money too. um so once again, it became something that was just like, the story was done, but it went on the back burner. But not only that, I had to proofread as well. So then I figured, uh, I at some point I'm gonna have to proofread it. I toyed around with the idea of you know having someone else proofread it. I toyed around with AI proofreading it. Um, but I was like, well, if anyone's gonna proofread it, it just has to be me. And then I'd say like a month, maybe two and a half months ago, I just sat down one day. It was 9 in the morning, uh, and I just started reading it. I went from each chapter, top to bottom, just read it all. And I took breaks in between, but for most of it, I sat right here and I just read it. And it took me probably, with the breaks and a few breaks in between, about 6 hours to read the whole book, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe 8 hours. Um, but I got through it and proofread it, and then yeah, that's when I started looking more into I started getting serious with the publishing. I started looking up different publishing agencies. I started like trying to set up little meetings, trying to get in contact with people. But every turn just felt like a dead end for me. Excuse me. Yeah, it just felt like every turn was just like a dead end, and I was losing that motivation. And then it one day it just hit me. Just go back to the original idea go back to what you originally planned on doing. Do that. Screw all, screw all this other stuff. Just do it how you want to do it. Don't worry about a major publishing agency. Don't worry about none of that stuff. Just do it how you want to do it. And then it felt like the world, the weight was just like lifted off of me. I was like, suddenly I found that I felt that motivation again. And then, um, so I did that. It got into it got into, actually, hold on. Before I go into that, I should say, I wanted to design a specific book cover for the book. And I had read around on internet. You can't really be too sure, but I'd read around that like a lot of major publishing companies, they'll, if they decide to pick up your book, they'll take care of all that stuff. They'll take care of a lot of those ideas. They kind of take it into their own hands. I don't know how true that is. So if you're a major publishing company and you see this and I'm wrong, well then I guess that's what it is. But I was just like, I did not want to give up that creative control, because I had a specific idea in my head of how I want the book cover to look. And I also didn't want to. I didn't want to risk sending in my work and then they turn around and say, well, you got to change this part of the book. You got to change this, and that. We don't like, I didn't want to give up any of that because I was like, I'm not, this story that I'm giving is the story that I want to tell. I don't want to change anything about it. So that was a big thing. So fast forward, I, yeah, I got to it. So the way that I'm giving it to you guys, sorry if this is kind of, if it feels like I'm taking a little bit of time to get there, but yeah, I created a website. And I am uploading the book for free for as a downloadable PDF. It's literally, by the time you see this video, the YouTube is gonna, or not the YouTube, the website is gonna be live. Everything is gonna be live. If you follow my social media, I'm going to upload some videos of showing you exactly how to download the book. Literally, the website that I created, it is the most simplest website in the entire world. Literally anybody um, can navigate it. Anybody can. There's only 4 buttons on the website. The literally it says download the Wind Travelers. You tap it, and next thing you know, it takes you to a window where you have the entire story right there. Um, and then at the bottom of that web page, there is some donation buttons. I do have 3 donates if you want to donate via Venmo, via PayPal, or Cash App. You can donate to, you can help support us by donating either of those 3. But I recommend read the book first. Don't, if you want to donate right then and there, fine, go ahead. But you don't need to donate in order to download the book. You can download the book first and foremost, anyways. But I recommend read the book first. Just read it, absorb it, and once you get to the end, there is another reminder to let you know what the Cash App is, what the Venmo is, and what the PayPal is. If whatever the book, if it meant something to you, if it does anything for you, whatever you feel the book is worth to you, you can donate that. You can donate that to any of those platforms. If it's $1, it's $5, $10. If you felt it moved you in a massive way and you want to, if you want to contribute massively, that is completely up to you. I'm not going to tell you how much to donate at all. You have that full power in your hands, whether you want to donate or not. And if you feel like if you can't donate either of those 3, Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, the best way you can help us out is by giving the book away. It's you can forward the link to anybody. That's also one of the best ways that you can help support us and getting the story out there, because I feel like it is a very important story, and I feel like it's a story that the world needs to hear or read. It needs to enter the human psyche. It is, I truly believe it's that important. So give the story away. Just give it freely. I'm giving it to you freely. So give it away. Give it freely. That is one of the best ways you can help support us. If you want to donate in any other ways, maybe you want to send a gift of your own. I know a lot of um, indigenous communities. We like to bead stuff for people and send them out. If that's something you want to do, if that, I'm just throwing out an example. If that's a way you want to help, donate, by all means do it. You can get a hold of us via the emails that'll be in the description, or you can hit us up on Facebook or whatever our social media. You can hit up him, or you can hit up me and say, hey, I read your book. It, whatever it did for you, I want to send this to you. How can I do that? You know, we can work that way. Um, but yeah, that is that's pretty much all I really wanted to say. Like I'm really excited to get, you know, to get the story out to you guys. It's definitely been a long time in the making. I um and who knows, maybe one day, when the time is right, maybe it will get a major, maybe it'll get a proper publication. Who knows? Maybe some publishing company will pick it up. Maybe not. Maybe I'll make enough money to actually do it all myself and be able to print out a bunch of like hard book covers for anybody who doesn't want to read something on their phone. But as of right now, that's how you're gonna get it. Uh, Designed a book cover, and that's how you'll get it. You'll get it via PDF for right now. That's just what it is. Um, so yeah. Um, and we'll see what happens. That's pretty much, you know, that's what I have.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to go through, and I would definitely. I know there's a lot of people that were curious about what had happened, what took place, and the book just it explains everything in detail what happened. I was reading it the other day, just kind of going through and stuff like that. And there was like certain events that happened that I completely forgot about what happened, forgot that happened. And then there was like um, some of the parts for me, like reading it, I felt like uh, some parts happened in a specific order, but to me, I thought they had happened in a different order. So I had to go back, reread, really think about what had happened those days and in that time frame about like what took place first and then did this happen and then this happened, but then reading the book over again, it all fell back into place, and it brought a lot of good free memories, I guess you can say. Like it was like one of those things where I read it and not everything just like bits and pieces just came back crashing. Like I don't know, it was really I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. It just um, whenever I read it personally, obviously, like if you guys read it, you're gonna get a whole different experience. You're just gonna get it from a third person reading it, you know, and understanding what it's like to travel into the unknown and just kind of taking a risk on life, you know. But reading it for me personally, though, I don't know. It was I don't know. It's just really hard to explain, like the feeling that it brings. It's really bittersweet. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where because we were really back then reading it, like you're gonna be like, oh man, that does sound like you know, naive. Like there were some parts where you're like where you can read it and think like, oh man, these guys were so sure of themselves. But then thinking about it nowadays, you know, I'm like, oh, like I we thought we knew it all back then, and then stepping in today, like even now, I think now, like back then, we wouldn't admit that, you know, there were certain areas of our life that we certain parts that were happening in the journey that we would fully be like, no, 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 this is what it is, and this is how it is, and this is what it's going to be. But then nowadays, thinking about it, you know, we would look back at our younger selves and be like, hey, like just kick back and just let life, you know, let life take over and don't try to control everything, because even then you're trying to control the outcomes of certain things, but you're doing it from a more freeing way. You're not trying to tell other people what to do or trying to you're not trying to I guess you're not conforming to society. You know, you're more so just you're living life at your own pace and you're doing what you feel is right, you know. And then obviously nowadays things are a lot different. You know, we have a lot more life experience, but even now today, um, you still take it as it comes. You know, I mean, not I think every day, you know, we're constantly met with challenges and more eye openers. I mean, every day is kind of an opportunity to take something new in. You know, even even if you are kind of on a routine, you know, there's nothing wrong with routine and waking up day to day and doing kind of the same thing. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it's the comfort aspect that can be really it could be really detrimental, just because like some people get a little too comfortable with where they're at in life, and then they think that that's just, you can call it quits and you've won, which isn't wrong. But I mean, at the same time, there's always room for growth. And I think that's, back then we were reading the book, thinking about it. I mean, like, it's just crazy to think that like we thought we like knew it all about the world in the very beginning stages of, I guess you can say, an awakening. But nowadays, you know what I mean, like, you don't think about it like that anymore. You more so just, what it is, but you just have to be open, and you have to be okay with change, constant changing in life. And that's something that I've you know I mean, not just me, but Tyler as well, we've grown pretty comfortable with. you know but yeah, I mean, I highly recommend the read. Not trying to push you guys into it or anything, but anybody from back home, if you guys were curious about it and you want to know what it took, what we did, what life was like, what could potentially happen to you, what could if you take a chance on life, I recommend you look into it.
Yeah, and it kind of the book and it just answers a lot of questions that that people just had about us, especially during those times. I we might have said it in a podcast here or there, but we've talked about like there were like stories about us that were going around that if somebody came up to us and asked us like, hey, like this is what I heard, is this what happened? But if one person thinks that, there's probably a whole bunch of slew of people who probably believe that as well. And we of course, if for the one person who asked us, of course we cleared it up, but it just kind of answers a lot of those questions for you. And we have people now too who are asking, like whenever I had said like, hey, when I had announced that I had finished the book, there was people that were hitting Taylor up and saying like, "Oh yeah, I remember that. Was it good or bad? Like, was that like all that stuff that happened? Was it good? Was it bad?" And it's just, well, the book. You're gonna have to just decide for yourself. Read the book. If it was whether it was a good experience or a bad experience. I wouldn't change anything for the world about how everything happened.
It was like a
Of course,
dream.
yeah, of course. Like, why? Yeah, why would I want to change that? I wouldn't. I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be who I am or where I am today without that journey, without that story. I love every moment. I love every memory that I can still remember. Nowadays, a lot of things are foggy. There's some things that Taylor will talk about like certain events, and I'm just like, I don't remember it. I don't remember that,
Yeah.
but it does happen, unfortunately. Um, yeah, the book it's literally a stream of consciousness. Like I wrote the book as I was remembering it. Um, and it basically it's a description of everything that happened, of everything that happened. You do get a little bit of like the psychology behind it. I don't go super deep into any of that stuff. I just felt it wasn't necessary to the story. I just wanted to just, like I said, just tell the story. That's essentially it. There are, of course, there's some. I'm a pretty deep guy, but there's some moments. I'm just joking, but there are some moments in the book where it gets a little. I get a little. I can get a little deep in it. Um, but
Well, which I think is important. Like, in order to understand the book, you have to really lock in. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be like, you have to put yourself in our position and understand where we were coming from, what the potential feelings were like, what we were faced with, some of the harshness that we kind of had to go through, and some of the, I wouldn't really say struggles. It was more so just like, it was more like, if you're a faster, you understand what I'm talking about. Like, if you're a person that fasts throughout the day, it's more so you're just constantly pushing as each hour passes by, and that's what it kind of felt like. You weren't like struggling; you were just pulling you. It's like you were pulling cinder blocks on your back, and you just kind of, you catch a break once in a while, then you pull, you catch a break, and then weight sheds off over time, and that's more so what it was like, and you kind of just have to really lock in to understand.
Yeah, very very modest. Learned how to how to simplify things every single day, and just um, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I mean, we had to
Well,
definitely learn how to just live simply, like we not out of necessity. Like we had to like completely learn how to live as simple as possible and eat. When it came to eating, just eat modestly, and know how to never know not to overindulge in anything, or I don't know.
it was a
There's a word I can't think of it right now.
it was like a majority of the time, everything, and even when you're reading the book, but like when we were experiencing these events as they came, um, and even talking about it to certain people, like anytime some people hear about what we did, and we give them brief little glimpses of what happened, because you can't sit there and talk about this stuff for hours and hours on end with people, because it's just too much. But it felt surreal. Everything felt surreal. Reading the book feels surreal in so many moments. Like you read it and you're like,
There's no way,
yeah,
shit like that.
yeah, you're just like, there's absolutely no way that, like, how can that be, and how did this person pop in, and how did this happen, and how did this thing take you to this just like that, and how did you think that, and then this thing happened. Like, there's just so many moments in the book where where you read it and you're just like, you're just kind of like, uh you're you're kind of fucking blown back. You know what I mean? Reading the book the other day, I was like, even me, like there was moments where I read it and then I get goosebumps. I'm like, holy shit, I forgot that happened. And it just like it like the hope and uh that energy is always there, but when you reread it and it brings back that memory, it just sparks something, like it just reignites something in you, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, it's like those movies where it's like watching a movie where like you're watching a movie where everything just works out. Like everything just like seems to be happening, and you're witnessing it happen. Like you see the characters, they're unaware of it happening, but you as the viewer are watching it, and you're like and here there's like a bitterness in a lot of people that are like, life isn't, oh, too bad life ain't that perfect. Shit doesn't just work out like that. Well, like that was our experience through the entire thing. There were moments where it slowed down. That meant we had to slow down. Like that was probably like if things were slowing down for us, that just meant like we had to slow it down, and that also meant for us like this is where we're gonna bed down for some time. But then once the ball starts rolling again, then things are gonna start happening in a very fast paced order, and that's just what it. That's what I literally I explained that through the entire book. Like that's just what it was. It was just a lot of yeah, a lot of just magic, just magic, a lot of magic, a lot of there was like undying, unbelievable amount of knowing throughout the journey, where it's like you couldn't believe things were going to work out. You had to know things were going to work out, and you had to believe it until you knew it, and you just had to like you had to like hold on desperately sometimes to this idea that things were going to work out. And then that's literally what the book is, though. That's what, not literally all the book is, but that's you're gonna you're gonna catch that layered into the book we throughout. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was like no thinking.
Yeah.
There was no thinking. There was just all. It was just all doing as everything kind of happened and stuff. It wasn't like you had time to sit down and really contemplate life and what the next step was going to be. It was more so just like, like something just happened and we're like, well, looks like we're gonna have to just we're gonna have to roll with it and just keep going, and then we just go and then go and go and go and go. But yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't really have too much to add to that, guys. I just obviously it's a portion of our life, and for you guys, for friends, family, people that are curious, go check it out.
Yep. And to any stranger that, you know, to any stranger that comes across these works, you'll get to know us. And yeah, I mean, hopefully you like it. Hopefully you enjoy it. I think you will. I know you will. Um, yeah, I'm happy to get the story out.
Yeah, and we hope it it hits home. I hope it touches your heart.
Yeah. And yeah, follow us on our social media. Hit the subscribe button. Reach out to us. Like I said, by the time you get done watching this video, the website will be live, and I will give you the tutorial on how to download the book. I'll show you. I will guide you. I'll let you know. It's easy.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.